Sleeping well goes far beyond just physical exhaustion. The mind plays a crucial role in the process of rest. Racing thoughts, unresolved anxieties, and accumulated tensions throughout the day can be significant obstacles to achieving restorative sleep. Buddhism, which deeply values the balance between body and mind, teaches us that the quality of sleep is directly linked to inner peace. Preparing the mind and body for a restful night is, therefore, essential for a deep and rejuvenating rest. One of the first teachings in Buddhism about sleep tells us that how we end our day directly impacts the quality of our sleep. For rest to be truly restorative, we need to quiet the restless thoughts, calm the tensions in our body, and above all, cultivate inner peace. This process of slowing down the mind and welcoming sleep is a practice that requires attention and presence. Let's explore some essential Buddhist advice to transform the way we sleep and, in turn, the way we live. First tip: sleep is not a rigid equation. For many years, we have been told that 8 hours of sleep is the magic number for adequate rest. But Buddhism teaches us that each person has their own rhythm, and the formula for a good night's sleep is not fixed at a specific number of hours. True rest does not simply come from the amount of time spent with our eyes closed, but from the serenity with which we enter that period of rest. Every body has different needs, and the signals it gives us should be respected with wisdom. What's important is not forcing ourselves to meet the 8-hour goal, but evaluating how we feel when we wake up. Buddhism reminds us that the mind doesn't automatically slow down with the number of hours of sleep. If you lie down in distress, your mind will continue racing, even if the body is at rest. Sleeping well, then, is about the quality of rest, not the quantity of sleep. Instead of following a rigid rule, it's essential to listen to your body and perceive what it needs each night. Respecting this flexibility is an act of wisdom. Second tip: calm the mind before bed. In Buddhist practice, true rest begins in the mind. Lying down in bed is just part of the process, but if the mind is full of thoughts, worries, and distractions, sleep will never be deep. Buddhism teaches us that to achieve restorative sleep, we need to learn how to calm the mind. There are several simple practices that can be done before bed to help slow the mind down and prepare it for rest. One of these practices is breath meditation. By focusing on the breath and observing the flow of air entering and leaving the lungs, we can shift our attention away from restless thoughts and bring our mind back to the present moment. With this, mental agitation begins to dissipate, and the body prepares for a more peaceful rest. This doesn't mean the mind should be in total silence, but we can learn to observe thoughts without identifying with them. This practice of mindfulness helps the mind relax, surrender to the present moment, and, consequently, to rest. Third tip: avoid the anxiety of falling asleep. Anxiety about falling asleep is one of the greatest traps for deep rest. Often we want to control sleep as though it is something that can be commanded. But Buddhism teaches us that sleep cannot be forced. When we try to rush the process of falling asleep, we only create more resistance. When we allow the mind to slow down naturally, without hurry or expectation, sleep comes more easily. Trying to force sleep only creates more tension and frustration. The secret lies in trusting the natural flow of life. If thoughts keep arising, the ideal is simply to observe them without judging them, allowing them to dissipate on their own. In this way, both body and mind enter a state of deep relaxation, and sleep arrives naturally and peacefully. Fourth tip: the environment matters. 2. Buddhism emphasizes that the space where we rest directly impacts the quality of our sleep. Creating a peaceful and welcoming rest environment is essential for a restorative night's sleep. A quiet room with soft lighting and a comfortable temperature is a space that encourages relaxation. The environment should be simple, clean, and organized, because excess stimuli can keep the mind agitated. Buddhism teaches us that inner peace starts with the space around us. By keeping the room free of distractions and noise, the environment becomes an invitation to rest. Fifth tip: use breathing as a calming tool. Breathing is a powerful tool that Buddhism recommends for calming the mind before sleep. If the mind is racing, breathing can help slow it down and create a sense of calm. The simple act of breathing mindfully can transform the energy throughout the body. Buddhism teaches us that breathing is not only a biological function, but also a spiritual practice of presence and awareness. Breathe attentively, inhaling deeply and exhaling slowly. This will help calm the mind and relax the body. Sixth tip: don't carry the day's burden into the night. Often, we carry the worries and tensions accumulated throughout the day into bed. Buddhism teaches us the importance of not carrying these burdens into the night. When we lie down, it is essential to release these concerns and allow the body and mind to surrender to rest. A simple practice like journaling or practicing gratitude can help release heavy thoughts and create space for deep rest. By practicing mental detachment, we can allow the mind to calm down and thus fall asleep more easily. Seventh tip: the tradition of silence. In many Buddhist traditions, silence is seen as a powerful tool for healing. Before sleep, silence is especially valuable. By allowing the mind to quiet down, we create the necessary space for the body to relax and enter into restorative sleep. Avoid engaging in stimulating activities, such as watching exciting content or having a heated discussion before bed. Silence helps the mind prepare for rest and connect with a sense of inner peace. As we continue exploring Buddhist teachings for a more restful and fulfilling life, we delve into practices that help cultivate tranquility not only at bedtime, but throughout our daily existence. The wisdom of Buddhism encourages us to create conditions that nurture peace, and these practices extend far beyond the hours spent sleeping. In this section, we'll discuss more profound ways to prepare both the body and mind for restorative sleep, drawing from core Buddhist principles that promote balance and inner calm. Eighth tip: practice mindfulness. Throughout the day, mindfulness isn't just reserved for meditation or bedtime. In Buddhism, mindfulness is an ongoing practice that flows throughout our daily lives. The more mindful we are during the day, the easier it is to transition into a restful night. If we are constantly rushing, multitasking, or dealing with distractions, our minds will inevitably remain active when we try to sleep. Mindfulness helps us slow down, quiet our mental chatter, and be present in each moment. The act of being aware of what we are doing, whether it's eating, walking, or even talking, calms the mind and prepares us for a peaceful night of rest. By incorporating mindfulness into our daily routine, we train our minds to be more focused and aware. So when it's time to sleep, the transition from wakefulness to rest becomes smoother. Practicing mindfulness involves paying attention to the sensations in our body, observing our thoughts without judgment, and fully engaging with the present moment. As we develop this skill, our ability to let go of the day's worries and embrace the stillness of night improves. Ninth tip: disconnect from technology before bed. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to become glued to our screens, whether it's a smartphone, tablet, or computer, until the very moment we lie down to sleep. Buddhism teaches us the importance of disconnecting from external distractions, and this extends to our relationship with technology. The constant stream of information, images, and sounds from screens stimulates the mind and makes it difficult for us to calm down and fall asleep. To nurture a more peaceful sleep environment, it's essential to create a period of detachment from technology before bed. Set aside at least 30 minutes to an hour of screen-free time before going to sleep. Instead of scrolling through social media or watching intense videos, you could engage in calming activities such as reading a book, practicing gentle stretches, or enjoying quiet reflection. This allows the mind to wind down gradually, making it easier to let go of the day's stress and prepare for restorative sleep. Buddhism reminds us that true relaxation comes when we step away from the constant noise of modern life. By choosing stillness over stimulation, we create a space where sleep can come naturally and deeply. 10th tip: establish a gentle nighttime ritual. A consistent nighttime ritual can signal to the body and mind that it's time to rest. Buddhism values the concept of rituals, as they create a sense of routine and stability that fosters peace. A nightly routine, whether it's a brief meditation, drinking a calming herbal tea, or reading a few pages from a book, can be the perfect way to signal to your body that the day is over and sleep is near. The key to a successful ritual is simplicity and mindfulness. For example, take a few moments to express gratitude for the day's experiences, no matter how challenging they may have been. Reflecting on the positive moments, no matter how small, helps shift the mind into a state of appreciation and calm. Alternatively, a short session of deep breathing or a body scan meditation can help relax your muscles and ease any lingering tension in the body. These practices gently guide the body and mind towards sleep, aligning them with the natural rhythms of rest. Remember, the goal is not to perform a complicated routine, but to create a sense of closure for the day. Your ritual can be as simple as dimming the lights, taking a few deep breaths, and silently acknowledging the peaceful transition from wakefulness to sleep. This peaceful act cultivates a sense of calm and prepares you for restful slumber. 11th tip: cultivate a sense of gratitude. Gratitude is a cornerstone of Buddhist practice, and it can have a profound impact on the quality of our sleep. Gratitude helps shift our focus away from worries, anxieties, and dissatisfaction. It encourages us to see the world through a lens of appreciation and contentment, which can significantly reduce stress and promote relaxation. Before heading to bed, take a few moments to reflect on the things you are grateful for. These don't have to be grand or monumental moments. The simple act of being grateful for having a roof over your head, the warmth of your bed, or the people who care for you can bring immense peace to the heart. This act of recognizing the goodness in your life helps quiet the mind, reducing anxiety and allowing you to sleep with a lighter heart. Incorporating gratitude into your evening routine doesn't just promote a restful night's sleep, it also trains the mind to focus on abundance rather than lack, fostering a deeper sense of peace both during the night and throughout the day. 12th tip: let go of attachment and expectations. In Buddhism, attachment is seen as one of the primary sources of suffering. Whether it's attachment to material possessions, people, or even our expectations of ourselves, these attachments often create stress and dissatisfaction. The same is true for our approach to sleep. When we become overly attached to the idea of falling asleep quickly or expecting a certain number of hours of rest, we inadvertently create more tension and frustration. The Buddhist practice of letting go of attachment can be transformative when it comes to sleep. Instead of forcing yourself to sleep within a set time frame or worrying about whether you will get a good night's sleep, practice acceptance and relaxation. Let go of the need to control the process and trust that your body will rest when it's ready. This gentle release of expectation frees the mind from unnecessary tension and opens the door for deep, restorative sleep. 13th tip: stay present and surrender to the sleep process. Finally, the Buddhist teaching of surrendering to the present moment is key to letting go of the day and welcoming sleep. Just as we practice mindfulness throughout the day, we can practice it in the moments before sleep. When you find yourself lying in bed, embrace the present moment without judgment. If thoughts arise, observe them, but don't get caught up in them. Gently bring your focus back to your breath, to the sensations in your body, and to the peaceful stillness of the moment. By staying present, you allow the body to naturally transition into sleep. The mind becomes less focused on outcomes or worries about the next day, and instead, it rests in a state of pure presence. The simple act of surrendering to the flow of the present moment can help you fall asleep peacefully and wake up feeling restored. These Buddhist teachings and practices offer profound wisdom for achieving a peaceful night's sleep and cultivating a more peaceful life overall. By integrating mindfulness, gratitude, and detachment into our daily routine, we can create the conditions for deep, restorative rest. I would love to hear how these practices resonate with you. Have you tried any of these tips already? Or do you feel inspired to incorporate them into your routine? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Also, if you found these teachings helpful, consider sharing this video with someone who might benefit from it. It's always wonderful to spread wisdom, especially when it can bring peace to others' lives. And, if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel so we can continue to explore Buddhist teachings and other practices together. As we explore further into Buddhist teachings, we now turn our attention to how these practices not only impact our sleep, but also shape the way we live, interact with others, and engage with the world around us. The Buddhist path encourages us to live with intention, clarity, and a sense of inner peace. These qualities, when cultivated, transform how we experience both our waking hours and our rest. In this section, we'll look at how the Buddhist teachings that lead to restorative sleep also create the foundation for a balanced and fulfilling life. 14th tip: cultivate a mindful approach to life. Buddhism teaches us to be fully present in each moment of life. This isn't just a practice for meditation or before sleep. Mindfulness is a way of being in the world. The more mindful we are in our daily actions, the more we cultivate peace and clarity. The Buddhist practice of mindfulness encourages us to live with intention. Whether we are washing the dishes, walking to work, or having a conversation, by focusing our attention on the present moment and observing our thoughts and actions, we reduce the distractions that lead to stress and mental clutter. The same mindful awareness we apply during the day helps create a smoother transition to sleep. When we engage in activities with attention and presence, we prevent our minds from being overloaded by the noise of life. Mindfulness fosters an internal calm that naturally extends into the nighttime hours, allowing us to rest with ease. Over time, this practice becomes a natural rhythm in our lives, and the benefits extend far beyond just getting a good night's sleep. 15th tip, the importance of self-compassion. Buddhism teaches us that to be truly at peace with the world, we must first be at peace with ourselves. Self-compassion is a cornerstone of Buddhist practice, and it is just as important for our mental and emotional well-being as it is for a restful night's sleep. Too often we are our harshest critics, constantly striving for perfection and pushing ourselves beyond healthy limits. This self-criticism creates internal tension and makes it harder for us to relax, whether it's during the day or at night. The practice of self-compassion helps soften these harsh judgments. It invites us to treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a close friend. When we show compassion toward ourselves, we release the unnecessary pressure that keeps our minds racing. In terms of sleep, self-compassion can help us approach bedtime without the anxiety of feeling we haven't done enough or accomplished everything we hoped. Instead, we accept that we did our best and give ourselves permission to rest. By cultivating self-compassion, we create an environment of kindness and acceptance within ourselves, which translates into a more peaceful sleep and a more balanced life. 16th tip, detach from external expectations. In a world filled with external pressures and societal expectations, it's easy to become attached to the idea of success, achievement, and comparison. Buddhism teaches us that attachment, especially to external validation, leads to suffering. This attachment to expectations not only weighs down our minds during the day, but also prevents us from fully relaxing when it's time to sleep. To combat this, Buddhism encourages us to practice detachment. This doesn't mean withdrawing from life or disengaging from responsibilities. Rather, it means letting go of the need for external approval. When we detach from the pressure of meeting others' expectations, we free ourselves to live authentically and peacefully. This freedom allows us to approach sleep with ease, knowing that we are enough just as we are. By practicing detachment, we stop looking for fulfillment outside of ourselves and instead create a sense of contentment that comes from within. This is the kind of peace that leads to restful sleep and a life of fulfillment. 17th tip, live in harmony with nature. Buddhism teaches that we are deeply interconnected with the natural world. The seasons, the rhythm of the earth, and the cycles of nature reflect the cycles within us. By living in harmony with nature, we can align our internal rhythms with the natural world, creating balance in both our sleep and our daily lives. This means respecting the natural flow of life, taking time to rest when necessary, allowing for moments of activity, and trusting that everything has its appropriate time and place. For sleep, this means aligning our bodies with the natural cycle of day and night. Going to bed when it's dark and waking up when it's light helps our bodies stay in sync with the natural production of melatonin, the sleep hormone. Buddhism teaches us that honoring nature's rhythms is a way of honoring ourselves. By respecting the natural flow of life, we promote balance, both in our waking hours and during sleep. This connection to nature also extends to how we care for our physical environment. Creating a restful space that mirrors the calm of the natural world enhances our ability to relax and sleep deeply. Simple changes, such as keeping the room dark, using calming colors, and minimizing artificial distractions, can make a huge difference in the quality of our sleep. 18th tip, balance activity with rest. One of the fundamental principles of Buddhism is the middle way, the idea that balance is essential for a harmonious life. Too much activity can lead to burnout, while too much rest can lead to stagnation. The same principle applies to our approach to sleep. While it's important to give ourselves adequate rest, It's equally important to stay active during the day, whether through work, physical exercise, or engaging in hobbies that bring us joy and fulfillment. Buddhism teaches that balance is not just about finding the middle ground, but about cultivating harmony between opposites. In this case, activity and rest should be seen as complementary forces that nourish each other. Engaging in physical activity, being productive and connecting with others during the day ensures that we are tired enough to rest deeply at night. Conversely, allowing time for rest and rejuvenation is necessary for us to be fully present and productive during our waking hours. Creating a balanced routine, where moments of activity are followed by moments of rest, creates a natural flow that leads to better sleep, improved health, and a more fulfilling life. 19th tip: let go of unnecessary mental clutter. Buddhism teaches us the importance of mental clarity. The mind is often cluttered with thoughts, distractions, and emotional baggage that prevent us from fully experiencing the present moment. This mental clutter can keep us up at night, as our minds race with unresolved issues. Buddhism provides practices to declutter the mind and release the mental noise that hinders relaxation. One effective practice is meditation, which helps quiet the mind and create space for clarity. By taking time each day to meditate, even if only for a few minutes, we allow ourselves to let go of unnecessary thoughts. As we train our minds to be more focused and clear, we also create an environment that fosters deeper and more restorative sleep. Mental clarity brings peace, and peace allows us to rest well, knowing that we have released the burden of unnecessary thoughts. As we continue our exploration of Buddhist practices and their impact on our overall well-being, we begin to delve deeper into the ways in which these teachings can influence our daily experiences. Buddhism offers profound wisdom, not just for achieving restful sleep, but for cultivating a life of peace, presence, and purpose. The more we integrate Buddhist principles into our everyday routines, the more we experience a natural harmony between mind and body, which ultimately leads to more restful nights and a more fulfilling life overall. 20th tip: embrace simplicity. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to fall into the trap of accumulating possessions, experiences, and obligations. However, Buddhism teaches us that true peace and contentment come from embracing simplicity. This simplicity isn't just about decluttering our homes, but also about simplifying our minds and our lives. By letting go of unnecessary desires, attachments, and commitments, we create space for deeper joy, relaxation, and presence. In relation to sleep, this means creating a simple and calming bedtime routine. Rather than overcomplicating the process with expectations or last-minute tasks, focus on creating a ritual that soothes the mind and body. Buddhism encourages us to let go of the need to fill our lives with endless activity and possessions. When we simplify, we remove the noise and allow for more clarity and peace. 21st tip: let go of worry and future concerns. One of the biggest obstacles to achieving restful sleep is the constant worry about the future. Whether it's an upcoming event, a project deadline, or even just the uncertainty of what tomorrow will bring, these thoughts can create a restless mind that resists sleep. Buddhism teaches us the power of being present, of fully experiencing the here and now without being overwhelmed by what has not yet happened. To prepare for a peaceful night's sleep, it's essential to let go of these future worries before going to bed. Buddhism offers the practice of mindfulness to help us focus on the present moment, as well as the practice of surrendering control. By releasing our need to control every aspect of our lives, we free ourselves from the mental burden that keeps us awake at night. Simply acknowledging that the future will unfold in its own time and that we don't need to worry about it allows the mind to relax and make space for sleep. 22nd tip: live with compassion and kindness. Compassion is a central tenet of Buddhism, and it's something that should permeate our relationships with others, as well as our relationship with ourselves. Practicing compassion means approaching the world with kindness, understanding, and empathy. When we practice compassion, we create a peaceful and nurturing environment both internally and externally. Buddhism teaches that compassion isn't just about helping others, it's also about showing kindness to ourselves. When we treat ourselves with compassion, we release the inner criticism and judgment that often keep us anxious and restless. For sleep, this means accepting that we are doing our best, that it's okay not to be perfect, and that we deserve rest. By practicing self-compassion, we ease the tension in the mind and body, allowing us to approach sleep with greater ease and comfort. 23rd tip: be mindful of your diet and its impact on sleep. In Buddhism, the body and mind are seen as interconnected, and the food we consume directly affects both. Eating a balanced, healthy diet is not only important for physical health, but also for mental well-being and consequently the quality of our sleep. Buddhism encourages us to eat mindfully, paying attention to the way food nourishes and sustains us. Heavy or overly rich foods, especially close to bedtime, can disturb sleep by causing discomfort or indigestion. Instead, Buddhism teaches us to consume foods that promote balance, peace, and nourishment. A light meal in the evening, made from whole, natural ingredients, can help promote better sleep and overall health. Additionally, avoiding stimulants like caffeine in the evening can also make it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep through the night. Being mindful of our diet, especially at night, is a simple yet effective way to improve sleep quality and create a sense of balance and peace within our bodies. 24th tip: engage in gentle physical activity. Physical activity plays an important role in both mental and physical well-being. In Buddhism, the body is viewed as a sacred vessel, and taking care of it through gentle movement is seen as a form of self-respect and care. Gentle physical activity such as yoga, tai chi, or even a simple evening walk can help release tension from the body and mind, promoting relaxation and preparing the body for restful sleep. Engaging in light stretching or mindful movement before bed can ease physical tension and help signal to the body that it's time to unwind. As you stretch and move, focus on your breath and the sensations in your body, allowing yourself to be present and aware of each movement. This mindfulness in motion helps transition the body from a state of alertness to one of calm and relaxation, making it easier to fall asleep when the time comes. 25th tip: create a sense of closure for the day. Buddhism teaches that closure is important for peace of mind. This is particularly relevant before sleep, as the day's events, whether positive or negative, often linger in our thoughts and prevent us from fully relaxing. To prepare for sleep, it's important to acknowledge the day's experiences and create a sense of closure. This can be done through simple rituals such as reflecting on the day with gratitude, releasing any lingering thoughts, and mentally letting go of the events that occurred. One practice is to mentally recount the events of the day, acknowledging the challenges you faced and the lessons you learned. Offer gratitude for the things that went well, and then let go of anything that caused stress or worry. This practice of closure allows the mind to rest easy, knowing that the day has come to an end and that it is now time to rest. 26th tip: accept the impermanence of life. One of the core teachings of Buddhism is the concept of impermanence, the idea that everything is constantly changing and nothing lasts forever. This includes our emotions, our experiences, and even our physical state. Accepting the impermanence of life allows us to release attachment and embrace each moment as it comes. When it comes to sleep, accepting impermanence means acknowledging that the rest you seek will come in its own time, and that worrying about it only prolongs the process. By letting go of the attachment to perfect sleep and simply accepting the natural flow of rest, we can achieve a deeper sense of peace and relaxation. Accepting impermanence brings a sense of freedom, allowing us to rest without attachment to outcomes. As we reach the final part of our exploration into Buddhist teachings for better sleep and a more fulfilling life, we take a step back and reflect on the profound wisdom that these practices offer. Buddhism is not just about achieving a peaceful night's rest. It's about transforming the way we live, think, and approach each moment. The teachings we've discussed so far help create a foundation of peace, balance, and mindfulness that can permeate every aspect of our lives, both during the day and as we rest. In this last block, we'll summarize some of the key principles from the Buddhist path that can lead us to not only better sleep, but a more harmonious existence overall. These teachings are not just for the night, but for every moment of every day, allowing us to live with more clarity, intention, and contentment. 27th tip: embrace the practice of gratitude as a way of life. Gratitude is an incredibly powerful practice, and in Buddhism, it is seen as a way to cultivate contentment and joy. Living with a heart full of gratitude allows us to release dissatisfaction and shift our perspective toward the present moment. This practice doesn't end when we go to bed. Gratitude is a mindset that can transform our day-to-day experience. Before going to sleep, take a moment to reflect on the things you are grateful for. This isn't just about big, monumental things. It's about appreciating the small, everyday blessings, the warmth of your home, the love of family and friends, the beauty of the world around you. Focusing on gratitude before sleep can calm the mind and ease the heart, making it easier to let go of any lingering tension and drift off peacefully. By making gratitude a daily practice, you create an internal environment of abundance and contentment, allowing you to rest deeply each night and approach each day with a sense of peace and fulfillment. 28th tip: understand that sleep is part of the natural flow. Buddhism teaches us that everything is interconnected, and that includes the natural rhythms of the body. Sleep is an essential part of the cycle of life. Just as we need periods of activity, we also need rest to restore and renew our energy. Understanding sleep as part of the natural flow of life allows us to approach it with greater ease and acceptance. Rather than seeing sleep as a separate or secondary activity, we can view it as a vital part of the overall rhythm of life. Sleep is not something to be rushed or forced, but something to be embraced as a natural and necessary part of our well-being. By understanding sleep in this way, we can relax into it more easily, knowing that our bodies and minds are simply following their natural course. 29th tip: trust in the process of restorative sleep. One of the most profound Buddhist teachings is the importance of trust. We often struggle with anxiety around sleep, worrying that we won't get enough rest or that we won't fall asleep at all. However, Buddhism encourages us to trust the natural processes of the body and mind. Sleep will come when it is ready, and our efforts to control it often only lead to more frustration. By trusting that the body knows how to rest when given the right conditions, we can relax into the process and release our need to control it. This trust allows us to let go of anxiety and allow the body to naturally fall into a state of relaxation. Trusting in the process of restorative sleep is a form of surrender, which brings peace both to the body and to the mind. 30th tip: practice acceptance and non-judgment. In Buddhism, acceptance and non-judgment are key elements of cultivating peace and harmony. Many of us go to bed with a mind full of judgments. We judge the events of the day, we judge ourselves for not accomplishing everything we wanted, and we judge whether we've had a good night's sleep. This constant internal judgment creates unnecessary stress and restlessness. To achieve a more peaceful night's sleep, it's important to practice acceptance. Accept the day as it was without judgment. Accept the sleep you are getting, whether it's a full 8 hours or just a few. Accept the thoughts that come and go without judging them. By practicing non-judgment, we allow ourselves to experience each moment as it is, without adding layers of stress or frustration. 31st tip: release the need for perfection. Buddhism teaches us that the pursuit of perfection can lead to suffering. We often put pressure on ourselves to be perfect in every aspect of our lives, including our sleep. We expect to always fall asleep easily, wake up feeling completely refreshed, and have flawless rest every night. But this pursuit of perfection only creates more tension, both in our sleep and in our lives. Instead of striving for perfect sleep, Buddhism encourages us to release the need for perfection. Some nights we will sleep deeply, and other nights we may not sleep as well. Both are natural, and both are part of the journey. By letting go of the need for perfect sleep, we can accept whatever rest we do get and trust that it is enough for the moment. This acceptance helps ease anxiety and allows us to sleep more peacefully. 32nd tip: cultivate a strong foundation of inner peace. The most important aspect of Buddhist teachings for better sleep is cultivating a deep sense of inner peace. When our minds are calm and our hearts are at peace, sleep becomes a natural extension of that inner tranquility. Inner peace is not something that can be forced. It is something that is cultivated through mindfulness, self-compassion, and acceptance. To build this inner peace, we must practice patience and consistency. Meditation, mindfulness, gratitude, and self-compassion all contribute to creating a foundation of peace within ourselves. As we strengthen this foundation, we begin to experience more peace, not only during the day, but also during our sleep. When we rest with a peaceful mind, we wake up feeling more refreshed and centered. ready to face the challenges of the day with calm and clarity. As we conclude our exploration of Buddhist teachings for better sleep and a more balanced life, we are reminded that these practices are not just about improving the quality of our sleep. They are about transforming how we live, think, and experience each moment. By cultivating mindfulness, gratitude, acceptance, and inner peace, we can create a life that flows naturally with balance, peace, and fulfillment. I hope you found these teachings helpful and inspiring. As we've discussed, Buddhist practices offer powerful tools for improving sleep and creating a more peaceful existence. If you found any of these practices helpful, I'd love for you to share them in the comments below. Have you already tried any of these techniques in your own life? Which ones resonated most with you? If you're feeling inspired, I invite you to share this video with anyone who could benefit from these teachings. And of course, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. By subscribing, you'll be joining a community that's dedicated to exploring these teachings and applying them to everyday life. Together, we can continue to grow in wisdom and peace. Thank you for taking the time to explore these practices with me. Sleep well, live peacefully, and remember, each step you take toward peace is a step toward a more fulfilling and restful life.